hello fellow bowler. When is the last time you had your positive axis point checked? What's up guys, Brundennick's back and I'm here to talk about why you should get your positive axis point or your P.A.P checked every single year. So I'm going to show you how I do it, how I get my positive axis point. Right now I am 4.5 by a half up. So we're going to throw a shot and we're going to see if anything has changed. So first tip for getting your positive axis is using it on a duller ball, preferably darker so you can actually see the oil lines on the ball. And if your ball is a little shiny or is shined up over time, it's a good idea to hit it with surface so that's easier to see the oil. So let's go ahead and do that. Doesn't have to be a lot of surface, but just enough to get rid of the shine. Okay, got that out of the way. Let's throw a shot. So now we got to get the oil line off the ball, and we're only focused on the first oil line, and we'll show you soon. So right as soon as your ball comes off, you're going to need a couple things, okay? You're going to need a prosect, you're going to need a pencil, and you're going to need a white piece of tape to mark your P.A.P. So the first thing we want to do is we want to just trace this first oil ring, the very first one that comes across, okay? All right, we don't need to do the whole ball, but just enough, okay? All right, so we got an idea of where our first oil ring is, and there's two ways you can go about getting the positive axis off this first line. Well, you can kind of randomly just put your tape wherever you want. That's kind of guessing. Another way that I like to do, which I've done in the past, which gets you in the ballpark, is I just draw a couple of lines from the track. Okay. Over here. We'll do another one over here, just kind of right up against it. And that's showing me an intersection pretty high up. I wonder if my P.A.P has changed that much. So we're going to actually test out this theory. So we're going to test this out. We're going to put a piece of tape right on that spot, right where the two lines intersect. We're going to see if my P.A.P has changed. Okay. Now we always want to verify that with throwing another shot, checking the footage. You can kind of eyeball it as you're doing it, but it's important to film this because your camera will see more. Hey. Looking at the replay, I would say that is pretty darn close, and it appears that my P.A.P has changed. So now what we need to do is use the prosect to measure where that P.A.P has changed to and get the new coordinates. Let's do that. All right, so now that we have verified that this is the new P.A.P and it has gone quite a bit up, as our hands change, that's what happens. So the first thing we need to do is we need to draw a line between the thumb and the two fingers. That's going to establish our center line. Okay, that's that. Now we need to figure out the center of grip. Okay, so we're going to find the spot right in there. Okay, now there's our center of grip. Now we need to draw our horizontal line for our positive axis point over here. Okay, got that all good. Let's get that out of the way. And now we need to draw our vertical inclination here, right in the center there. All right, so now we have our over and our up, okay? So just for the sake of this video, we're going to take this tape off and going to assume that this X right here is my positive axis. That's where we figured it out, okay? Cool. Now let's measure the distance between here and there. Okay, so this is 3 15/16 by 1/7/8 up. The reason why this is important, and this has changed quite a bit. So I was drilling this particular ball 60 by 5 by 20. Okay, that was based off of a P.A.P that was 4.5 by 1/2 up. Now it's changed, it's less over and more up. So now this distance between my new positive axis and the pin is a lot shorter. So where I thought I had a 5-inch pin, now we have a 3.5-inch pin. So that is a big difference between the amount of flare I'm going to get. I'm going to get probably more flare out of this now that it's drilled this way. And it's also bringing the pin kind of down. It's not really going to be based off 20. So a 20-degree VAL angle would probably put the pin further up. So in the future, I'm going to double check one. All right, we're going to check another ball to make sure this is accurate. But right now, 3 15/16, 1 7/8 up. So the reason this is important, if you find yourself struggling with ball performance, maybe your ball's just not doing what you're doing, you know, maybe you've aged a little bit. I'm going to be 45 this year. And the way I throw the ball now is not the way I threw it a year ago, maybe 5 years ago. As we get older, our hands change, the strength in our hands change, injuries lets us favor different things. So it makes us throw the ball a little bit different. And it's important to go into your pro shop and check it. I understand that not everybody is going to have a pro sec. They're not going to have everything you need to check it, but you can get your positive axis, mark it with tape, bring it into your pro shop and just say, hey, I verified my P.A.P. I got it on video. What do you think? Let's talk about layouts as we get new equipment going forward. Obviously, you can go to the extreme of plugging and redrilling your stuff. I don't necessarily recommend that, but as you get new equipment, lay it off your new positive axis point. So that's why checking your P.A.P, your positive axis point, is so important. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, please give me a subscribe, and as always, see you on another video. Ball return. Oh, hello. That intro was lame anyway.